Hey everyone, I'm Trevor, and today we're at Universal Studios Hollywood to share with you some things that you might not want to forget to bring on your next trip. So let's get going. And the first item that you need to remember to bring to Universal Studios is the reason this video exists, because I forgot sunscreen. Yeah. One of the most basic things. You'd think that this would be a no-brainer. It was in the back of my car, but I didn't bring that car. I brought the other car. And so we are going to go into the Universal Studios store at the very front of the park. I know for a fact that one has sunscreen. We're going to come in over here to this side and check out if this side has sunscreen. And where you're going to be looking for them is up here towards the registers. They have all sorts of sundries and things that you might have forgotten, like maybe a water squirter if you wanted to bring that. Shoes, if for whatever reason your shoes should break during the day. We have $36. Even looks like they have little water shoes in here, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. Oh, and towels. But here we are, sunscreen, and got 30 SPF, and I do not see a posted price. There is a kids version as well. Whoa, 18 bucks. At least I got an annual pass discount, but wow. I was absolutely not alone in my forgetfulness. There was somebody else buying sunscreen right in front of me. The next item that you need to remember to bring is a lanyard. Universal Studios Hollywood still uses paper tickets. Actually, in fact, Orlando does as well. If you forget lanyards, however, they do have those for sale right over here. $12 to $17, depending on the type of lanyard that you want to get. And this is especially helpful if you purchase the Universal Express Pass, because you're going to be scanning that Express Pass in order to get into the attraction. So these are clear little plastic cases for your cards that you can just wear around your neck. This is so that you don't need to keep getting the card out and putting it back again, getting it out, putting it back again. You just have it hanging around your neck. A lot of people do it, so you might want to buy a lanyard before you come. If you are visiting Universal Studios Hollywood in the summertime, something that you might not have thought to bring is actually what is around my neck here, a neck fan. Now, I've talked about this recently in a couple of different videos here on my channel. I recently purchased this to go to Walt Disney World, where in Florida it is definitely much more needed, but I've found it useful here as well. I've been using it, it's great. The type that I have is a pretty affordable, cheap variety you can get on Amazon for like $30 or $40. It essentially just functions as a wind mover. It sucks in air here, blows it up on your face. It's like a constant breeze on you. It's really great. There are more expensive versions that actually have AC components that will send chilled air by you. This only takes the ambient air around you, but I like it a lot. And also, if you're coming during the summertime and you have little kids, you are going to love this. This is where it ties in to the water shoes that I mentioned earlier. Look at this big, huge splash area. Make sure that you bring, at a minimum, a change of clothes for the littlies so that they can come play in this area for sure. Otherwise, if you want to go all out, towels, water shoes, you name it, they sell it here, or you can bring it from home. It's a little early. I mean, it's still pretty warm actually right now, but a little early in the day for people to be enjoying this. It's still morning, not even lunchtime yet, but nice, big, awesome area. And look at this, misters right here. Even adults just come through here, run your feet through there. You don't have to get super wet, but wow, nice and refreshing in the summertime. It looks like they do have changing rooms and lockers over here, but I can't figure out how to get to it without actually going through the land itself. This is the front area of the water play section at Super Silly Funland, and yeah, again, I don't see any other way to get back there. The lockers are over that way. Over here is a different attraction, so you pretty much have to walk through this area to get to the changing rooms. Next, let's talk about shoes. So Universal Studios Hollywood is pretty small. There is not a lot of walking to be done. So if you want to wear sandals or flip-flops, you absolutely can. At Disneyland, I usually don't recommend that due to all the walking that you're going to do. But here at Universal Studios Hollywood, you absolutely can. However, one word of caution here at Hogsmeade at Hogwarts, you'll have Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Now, this attraction is a unique sort of experience, which is a simulator ride, and the simulator ride vehicle is free hanging. What I mean by that is your feet are dangling. So if you are wearing flip-flops or something loose, you will be clutching them to your foot for dear life. For little kids, I would highly recommend closed-toed shoes, or at least a change of shoes or something that will be firmly secure that could not fall off when it is dangling. You could also put them in your strollers. Let's talk about strollers. That's another item that you should bring to Universal Studios Hollywood. They do have places where you can park your strollers outside of the attractions. In the UK, strollers called prams, and so staying in World with Harry Potter, we have pram parking here outside of Hogwarts. If you bring those strollers, you can use them to store all sorts of things like shoes, change of clothes, snacks, you name it. Strollers make bringing a lot of the items on this list way more feasible. But I do want you to be aware that Universal Studios Hollywood is built on the side of a mountain, and because of that, there are a lot of stairs and escalators just to traverse the park. However, contrary to a lot of other places, strollers can be taken on escalators here at Universal Studios Hollywood. They just ask that you please remove your children from the stroller before you head down the escalator. Now, there are no elevators here because there are actually 4 different escalators and some walking to take you down to get down to the lower lot. For those in ECVs and wheelchairs, alternate transportation is available if you just come over to this team member. They will be able to help you arrange transport down to the lower lot. You will need to take a special shuttle. Now, if you don't have a stroller to store your things, you absolutely should bring a backpack. Now, if you are used to Universal Studios Orlando, you'll know that most people just bring fanny packs and not much else. Most of the attractions in Orlando require you to store bags in a locker. There's only 2 attractions that do that here at Hollywood. It is going to be Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, as well as the Revenge of the Mummy. Now, they have recently moved the lockers here in Hollywood. The lockers for Forbidden Journey used to be located inside the attraction as you entered the line, but now they are located over here off to the left of the entrance, very similar to the location for Orlando's. The lockers also appear to be a bit skinnier than they used to be, more in line with Orlando's size, but they are larger than the ones in Orlando, so bigger backpacks like that one should fit just fine. So the skinnier ones here on the left are free rentals, but the ones on the back wall there that are a little bit larger do cost $5. The free lockers do have a caveat though. After 60 minutes you will be charged $5, so do not leave them there. They max up $20 if you leave your stuff in the bag and like, you know, don't come back to the locker for a while. Paid ones work similar, $5 up front, $5 each additional hour, and a max of $20. And for our next item, we are back at the Universal Studios store. In fact, I also forgot my portable charger today. They do have some fuel rod kiosks here throughout the park, and we are gonna see what the prices are. Fuel rod kit for $35. I do need to buy one here today. And you can buy 1, 2, or 3. The price does not change. Still $35 each. So we're gonna hit next. And now I'm gonna buy a fuel rod. If you do need to do a swap, they do offer those as well. They are $3 per swap here at Universal Studios. It's not Disneyland. It is not free here. And here's what you get for your purchase. This nice little plastic container. You see the fuel rod in there, as well as some adapters and cords depending on the different phone model that you might have. They do have a USB-C plug here, a lightning cable for the older iPhones, and then this adapter, I'm assuming, is for Android phones. If you pre-purchase a fuel rod on Amazon, you can actually buy a pack of 2 for $35. And so it's definitely cheaper on Amazon. Or the thing that I usually have is actually a device that magnetically attaches to my iPhone using MagSafe. And it is a sort of like a fuel rod as well, but a power bank that just magnetically attaches with no cords. I love that. Unfortunately, also left that in my other vehicle. At 11 a.m. on the dot, still a lot of people coming into the park here this morning. And so let's talk about park tickets here for a minute. Now, I don't think anyone is going to forget their tickets at home. Those days are kind of gone. I mean, they do tell you in the email that you can print the ticket and bring it, but they also say that you can just use the PDF that's attached to that email. So if you have your cell phone, you are probably going to have your ticket unless you accidentally delete deleted and double deleted that email. Don't do that. However, something else that you might not be aware of that is not listed in the actual instructions is that you can add that ticket to the Universal Studios California app. And so make sure that you download that app and connect your tickets. It just makes it easy. That way you have it there instead of having to fumble through your email to find that ticket, or even worse yet, deal with a paper pass. However, they are going to print you out a little paper ticket. The paper ticket that I showed you earlier that you can put in your lanyard, that'll happen when you go through the turnstile. Another item not to forget to bring that is also basically important here for Hogsmeade is going to be a Harry Potter wand. Now, this, of course, is if you've only been here before and you've purchased a wand in the past. I have, and if you want to do the wand things but don't want to have to buy another one, you know, bring your own, of course. It does have to be one that you purchase here, however, it just can't be any wand. They do have RFID sensors in the tip of the wand that allow you to interact with the different things that are around the land. What do we mean? Well, we mean what we see here. There is a symbol on the ground that lets you know that there is an interactive element here for the Harry Potter wands. And then the map that you are given when you purchase the wand will show you those different locations throughout the land. It'll also show you the way that you should wave the wand in order to activate the element. However, the RFID sensor on the tip is very finicky, so if it is not working the day you purchased it, go in and exchange it. If it doesn't work when you come back, unfortunately you're out of luck. They won't just give you a new one. Here's a look at that symbol that's on the ground. It also shows you the pattern in which that you should wave the wand. If you don't have a wand and you want one, Ollivander's, the entrance to the experience is over there. There is a little show sort of experience that you can see where the wand chooses the wizard. However, right here at Wizard's Wizarding Equipment, you can go in there and just go purchase the wands. There are a ton of different locations around the park, both here in the Wizarding World and outside in the main portion of Universal Studios, where you can buy wands as well. The Universal Studios store at the front of the park for sure has them. I did just go inside and check, and they said that the price for the wands right now is $64. That's all they said. $64.99 or $64 after tax. I'm not exactly sure on that. Previously it cost $60, so it's gone up a little bit. Do you need a wand to enjoy the Wizarding World of Harry Potter? Absolutely not. It is a fun little extra to do, especially if like you're not going to be coming back and you want to make the most of your visit, or you have a kid who's super into Harry Potter. It is fun, but absolutely not necessary at all. And to let my phone charge a little bit with the fuel rod, I did hop on the studio tour to take a quick break from filming, but I know this has nothing to do with what to bring. But I feel like I've said it a couple of times. I just want to reiterate it again. Every single time I go on the studio tour, it is different. Right now, it is the 60th anniversary studio tour, and there were so many new things I'd never seen or heard before. Specifically, they have Doc Brown outside of the City Hall clock tower for Back to the Future. They've got a DeLorean down there. I've never seen that before. They also went in the airplane scene backwards. I didn't film any of that, but the earthquake scene is back up and operating again. It was broken for a while. Not broken, I think they were just updating it, refurbing it, and it is back. Also, inside of the Bates Motel, or outside of it rather, they used to have Norman Bates come out and like chase the tram with a knife and things, and they didn't do that. In fact, this was like a stop where you could get out, you could have some photo ops. They had all sorts of different displays where you could go get in line for photos. My favorite one was the Jaws. I didn't get in line for any of them, but it was really cool to see all the different photo ops that you could do. Again, that's for the 60th. It's a flashback, a throwback rather, to the old way they used to do the tour, which was a walking tour, they explained, and it was in the day of silent movies. They could walk a lot because noise wasn't an issue. They moved to the trams once they needed to have quiet and silence. That way they can control, you know, how fast people were going through the area and that sort of thing. For the next couple of tips, we have to head down to the lower lot. Down in the lower lot, I did confirm that Revenge of the Mummy does have the older, larger lockers. So when they redid the lockers for Forbidden Journey, they made them smaller. Megatron just came out for a meet and greet over here outside of Transformers: The Ride 3D. Speaking of Transformers, if you suffer from motion sickness, make sure that you bring motion sickness patches or Dramamine or something to help you combat that. Here at Universal Studios Hollywood, a lot of the attractions are screen-based. They're motion simulators, and Transformers The Ride 3D is the biggest offender for my wife, Amy. She does not like that attraction. She will not ride it anymore because of how it makes her feel. But she has bought motion sickness patches the last time we went to Universal Orlando. She said they helped tremendously to not have as bad of an issue. So maybe it's something to look into, especially if you don't want to take Dramamine if it makes you drowsy. Similar to the wands at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, here at Super Nintendo World and the lower lot, there is an upgradable purchase that can make your enjoyment of the land, well, more enjoyable, of course. There is a lot going on here at Super Nintendo World. All the way over there is Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. That is the main ride and attraction in here, and you do not need the upgrade in order to ride that ride. But to either side of us, you'll see this area here, as well as it's actually over there underneath the power-up bar. There are all sorts of games that you could play, but you do need to have a power-up band in order to play and enjoy these experiences in the land. This one behind me is kind of like a whack-a-mole. You have to hit all the clocks as they light up. And the purpose of doing this is to earn one of those gold keys. Earn 3 gold keys, and you can go face Bowser Jr., which we'll show you over here in just a minute. But these are the types of things that they have here at Super Nintendo World, these little interactive games that require a power-up band. And actually, it's like 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon, and the line does not look like this is the lowest I've ever seen the line. Of course, the land has been open now for a year and a half, so it makes sense that things around the area will start to die down. However, the crowds within the land still feel pretty heavy to me. If you would like to purchase one of those power-up bands here in the land, they do have these kiosks over here that you can go through. We can just come over here and hit shop, and then it'll let us pick one of these 6 selections: Daisy, Luigi, Mario, Peach, Toad, or Yoshi. However many bands you want, you can add them to cart, and then you can check out. And then it will spit out your power-up band down here. Once you obtain your power-up band, you will need to configure it to the Universal Studios California app. And if you already have one, make sure you bring it. That's where this ties into, because do you see one on my wrist? I don't. I own 3 of them, but there's none on my wrist. Yeah, I left it at home. See? I don't get to earn any points for my time here. When you walk into the land, you get points. When you ride Mario Kart, you get points. Different things you do on Mario Kart, you get points. You get all sorts of points in the app. It is really fun. Makes the experience more enjoyable. And I wish I'd have brought mine here today because, again, these aren't cheap. The cost is $42 with $3.99 in tax. It is $45.99 per band. Now, you only need 1 band per family to enjoy the games around the land, but to go face Bowser Jr., it's 1 band for every 2 people. So you can get in multiple people with 1 band. However, you can't take like a family of 4 in under just 1 band. You would need 2 bands for that. There are 4 games here in Super Nintendo World. You only need to play 3 of them to get 3 keys. Here is another one where the shell goes back and forth, and you need to hit the POW at just the time to make the shell go up and hit that POW. The only way you get the key up there is if you hit the blue POW. And then right over here is Bowser Jr. Once you have 3 keys, again, you can come in here and face Bowser Jr. It's a 5th mini game here in the land, but you have to beat 3 others in order to do it. And the last thing that you need to bring to Universal Studios Hollywood, if you'd like to save some money anyway, is some snacks. Of course, there's plenty of food and snacks available throughout the park. However, if you want to save some money, bring your own snacks with you. You can do that. That's totally fine. Bring in whatever you want. We bring all sorts of goodies from home whenever we come to visit Universal Studios. If you'd like a full overview of exactly what is available here in the park for food, go ahead and click this video to watch my Universal Studios food guide for 2024. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on the way out, and we will see you again next time.